Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Bayou Time. I'm Martin Faust. Two of our area pilots, aviators, were honored in the Hall of Fame. Of course, this was held earlier in North Louisiana, but our local Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission decided to give them some accolades themselves. So one of them showed up in person. Mr. Charlie Hammonds was there in person, and he got to receive his award and give his presentation in person. Mr. John Corky Fornoff, well, he was there via Zoom, and he got to tell a few stories also. So this was very nice for the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission to make this happen. Two world-class pilots who've flown just about everything, and they had fun that night telling stories and sharing their memories. Let's listen in on a very important night.
To start old business, I don't want to use that word preferably, but we have a presentation of the resolution acknowledging the retirement and induction into the Louisiana Aviation Hall of Fame of a Louisiana aviation icon, Charles Lindy Charlie Hammonds. Mr. Charlie, if you would come forward, we're going to give you the presentation up here, if that's okay.
Okay, you want to come down?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. I don't walk too good right now, but I got a back on my operation on my back, so I'm walking a little funny.
All right, Mert, you will read the resolution.
Okay, at a regular meeting of the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission, the following resolution was unanimously adopted. Upon the retirement and induction into the Louisiana Aviation Hall of Fame of a Louisiana aviation icon, Charles Lindy Charlie Hammonds. Whereas one of the first and foremost aviation operators in the parish of Terrebonne, the state of Louisiana, and the United States, Charles Lindy Charlie Hammonds has announced his retirement from active service on the Houma Terrebonne Airport. Whereas Mr. Hammonds began his career washing airplanes when he was 12 years old, earned his private pilot certificate and seaplane rating when he was 17, and started his venerable Hammonds Air Service in 1960 when he was 21. And whereas Hammonds Air Service has been a constant presence at Houma since inception as a fixed base operator, offering a seaplane base, charter service, flight school, hangar rentals, aircraft maintenance, and fuel sales. And whereas Mr. Hammonds has influenced and touched the lives of countless flight students and organizations in the aviation and oil field industries, with some notables including his Hammonds Commuter Airlines in the 1970s, flying the Brazilian Embraer Bandeirante, the de Havilland Twin Otter, Piper Navajo Chieftains, and his star pupil, J.W. Corky Fornoff, a skilled pilot renowned for his airshow talent and movie flight skills, with whom Charlie was inducted into the prestigious Louisiana Aviation Hall of Fame. And whereas Mr. Hammond's proudest moments have included his flying an F-15 fighter jet through to the speed of sound, completing his bachelor's degree from Embry-Riddle in aviation, establishing his well-renowned aviation museum and a company hangar, and fathering 2 sons who followed him into aviation. Ricky, an accomplished military and commercial pilot and instructor, and Lindy, who has run the company maintenance facility. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission of the Parish of Terrebonne, State of Louisiana, hereby gives its highest and most heartfelt congratulations and accolades to Charles Lindy Charlie Hammonds for not only his years of service to the aviation industry, but also for his frequent presence at the Houma Airport, as well as airport safety meetings where he championed the interests of all who worked at and used the Houma Terrebonne Airport. And the resolution was unanimously adopted. Charlie, we'd like to present this memento to you.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Be careful,
Thank you
but
very
I
much.
sure want to congratulate you.
Very nice, yeah.
Well-
Very nice. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate that sincerely. And that's nice, huh? You get any money with this or what?
Not much.
But anyway, that's going to go up in the museum, and I truly enjoyed my years on this airport. The old Houma Airport. I walked up here when in the early '50s, and I enjoyed every day here, and hopefully I'll have a few more to add to the thing. But aviation is my life. It's always been that way, and I've taught over the years, like Mert said, several hundred people to fly. And I've enjoyed every minute being with all of my students and the people that I've dealt with. You know, I always, like my friend Mert here, I wanted to be a Navy pilot when I was young, and that's what my ambitions were. And but it didn't work out that way. I had some family issues that I had to take care of a bunch of kids, and so I missed that part of it. I always, but I got to spend a little time on the aircraft carrier with my son Ricky. He flew F-14s like Mert off the aircraft carrier, and the Navy let me ride on one from San Diego, from the Hawaiian Islands to San Diego, California. Fantastic trip. I enjoyed it so much, and I know why Mert enjoyed his time on the aircraft carrier. But again, I got to do a lot of wonderful things. But I said to myself, you know, I flew the P-51. Matter of fact, that Bearcat up there, Corky standing by the Bearcat, I flew that airplane a lot. There's my seaplane, one right up here. And I got to fly the P-51 a lot. But I said to myself, I'll never get to fly a military jet because I just wasn't in the military. So I accepted that. So anyway, one day a General DeGeneres came up to me and he said, Charlie, I'd like for you to teach my son to fly. I said, I'd love to. So the young man, he did real well. He went to become an Air Force pilot. And so one day, General Landino was here on the east ramp of the airport, and Sam told him, he said, why don't we let Charlie fly one of the F-15s? And he said, General Landino said, heck, let him do it. So Corky's brother Terry, the general had him fly down from California to take me up in this F-15. But Sam told him, he said, let him do anything he wants to do with the plane. So Terry tells me, he said, the general said that you could take it off and land it. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't know anything about this airplane. I don't know anything about it. And I said, I'd rather not do that. But I said, what I'd like to do is go through the speed of sound. And I'd like to feel the power of a modern day fighter, just like this guy here has felt many, many times. And so anyway, he said, we got it fixed up for you. So I didn't take it off or land it, but he took this doggone F-15 out of there, and he went into the vertical with it, and just shot up to 15,000 feet. And I watched the Superdome. It was kind of like flushing a toilet. It just went right down. And I watched it go out of sight pretty quick and upside down. And then he righted it, and he said, it's your airplane. So I took it out over the Gulf. And again, I didn't know anything about the power settings and everything, but boy, I was a happy coon ass to be able to sit in an F-15 and flying it myself. And so anyway, he set the power settings up, and he told me, he said, we're going through the speed of sound now, and then 1.1 Mach, 1.2 Mach, and I was burning gas, I was going out of style, and so he said, now just take your throttles and pull them back real easy, which I did, to go subsonic. And we came over home here, and we had a wonderful time flying over. But I did get to fly a military jet, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I got to fly it for an hour.
We'll be right back. More with Mr. Charlie Hammonds when we come back to a very special Bayou Time. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. And welcome back to Bayou Time, as once again the home of Terrebonne Airport Commission honored two veteran experts behind the wings, and that's Mr. Corky Farnoff and Mr. Charlie Hammonds. Let's now go back and listen to more of the talk by Mr. Hammonds.
Nobody on this earth had more time, I'm talking about time to enjoy aviation. I built a lot of these hangars you see on the airport here. I just got, Fletcher College just bought us out. We're going to, that's going to, that whole thing's going to take place in probably October, right in that range. And so we're happy about that. They're going to put in an A&P school here. They're going to put in a flight school. They're going to, and they're going to have classrooms, and they're going to use a shop that we have now for teaching aviation mechanics. And so I'm very happy about that. It's going to be good for our parish, for our city, for the state of Louisiana to get a school down here of that character. And so I'm very, very happy about it. And I'm looking forward to have these Hammond signs taken off of my hangar and putting Fletcher up there and getting started on this project. But again, I'm a fortunate man. I've got to do a lot of things, and we like working for the Saudi Arabians. We worked for them for a long time. We flew all over the world for them. And let me tell you a little story before I get down here. We're going down for this thing. I was in the Bahamas with the Saudis, and what they did, they had their big yacht. They had about I think it was a 325-foot yacht. And this guy gave me a call one day. He was from England. And he said, I hear that you teach seaplane flying. And I said, I do. He said, I'd like to come down and get a rating from you. And I said, you're welcome to, and which he did. And it was a guy by the name of Peter Jago. And Peter came down and got his rating from me. And while he was here, I said, what do you do for a living? He said, I can't tell you, right now. But I said, so as we went through this process, one day he said, I'm going to tell you, he said, I'm the skipper of the Royal Yacht. And he said, he said, he said, I'd like to take you to New Orleans and show you this yacht. And you and your family, Carol, my wife, incidentally, my wife is sick. That's why she couldn't come here tonight. She's been real sick. So I got a lady taking care of her right now, and she was such a part of my life and my going through this aviation process. But again, we went to New Orleans, and I tell everybody, I said, I've seen some rich guys in Homer, Louisiana. Different people, and but they're not rich. When this yacht, everything inside of it, the Jacques Cousteau Society had a big aquarium inside this yacht, all kind of exotic fish and stuff in it. And we went all through the bathrooms and everything, and it was all gold and the whole bit. So he said, I'm going back to Saudi Arabia soon, and I'm going to tell the king and that we have a project that he might be interested in. How would you like to put a seaplane on one of our yachts? So he came back, and the king said, let's do it. And it was and so a yacht by the name of the Golden Odyssey. And the yacht that they built in California, they had me go to California to tell them what I would need on this yacht to put a seaplane on the yacht, which I did. And it's kind of playing a naval architect for a little while. But it was a wonderful experience. I watched that yacht go from just a piece of metal to 225 to 250 foot yacht. So, and what it was, my project, that they wanted me for, on the back of the yacht, we had an area that we could dock the seaplane, and the wings wouldn't hit the yacht, on either side, but depending on which way the wind was blowing. And then it would go into a slot. Now visualize some of these guys, some of you guys with boats. It would go into a slot. We'd drop the landing gear, and it would go and into a hangar. So that was our deal, and we went all over the world. We went to Australia, to France, just all over. But one day I was flying the project, and I was in the Bahamas, and I went from the yacht to Nassau. It was one of the Bahama Islands. And I landed there, and I'll show you what money does, okay? And I went in there, and the office there, the guy said, could I get have your papers for being here? I said, I don't have any papers. A typical Cajun guy, don't have any papers. He said, man, you're in trouble. He said, what do you think you coming on this island with no paperwork at all on that seaplane? And he said, we're getting ready to do something about this. And they were serious about it. So I said, I tell you what, I had a phone. He said, let me call the yacht. And I called out there, and Prince Khalid was there that day. It was his project. His dad was the king of Saudi Arabia, and then they had in this. I said, "This guy wants to talk to you." So, and I heard the guy in the Bahamas said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I fully understand." He said, y'all can go ahead now and just travel to Bahama Islands. It didn't make any difference. Because that Prince probably said, if you don't quit messing with my seaplane over there, I'm getting ready to buy the island, okay? And you won't have a job. But anyway, that type stuff, and it's been wonderful. I've had the Blue Angels over at my seaplane base flying. They did an air show here. The Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds one year did an air show, and so what I did, I entertained them, and they were terrible pilots. Okay, when on the seaplane, I told them, I said, I tell you what, if y'all don't fly any better than this, I mean, I'm not going to another Blue Angel Thunderbird air show. Oh my God! But they were different type machines. They were wonderful pilots, as we all know, and. The Fornoffs have been so good to me. The Bill Corky said, my daddy loved you more than he did me. So one day I got a call from Bill, and he said, Charlie, he said, I need for you to teach Corky to fly for me. I said, well, sure I will, you know I would. So I did. And a wonderful Corky Fornoff, he's not here right now, so I'm going to tell some good stories about him, okay? And he was a wonderful pilot. He was one of I soloed him in an old Navy SNJ, which is an old trainer airplane, in about 5 hours, which it would normally take, Mert could talk about that, take 15, 20 hours, because it was an airplane that was very tricky. So he had to, but he did real well. So one day, Bill called me after I soloed Corky and everything. He said, I'd like to fly the P-51, baby over my head. Okay. And I said, well, I'd really like to fly it. I said, who's going to check me out? He said, what the hell do you mean check you out? He said, you're a pilot, aren't you? I said, yeah, well, I am, but I never did fly that type of airplane. He said, well, come on out. And I went out there, and he said, there's the airplane. He said, Corky, tell him the power settings. And away I went, okay, on that P-51. But I flew it like I would a Piper Cub. And that was a gentle, gentle airplane. I flew the Bearcat a lot. Bearcat had 2,250 horsepower. So when you push the throttle, you get ready to go flying whether you wanted to or not. I mean, that darn thing would just blast out. And I had my own Navy T-28 and all kinds of T-6s, and because what I did with my work.
Don't go away. We'll hear more from Mr. Charlie Hammonds when we come back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, we are back to a very special Bayou Time. I'm Martin False, honoring Mr. Charlie Hammonds and Mr. John Corky Fornoff, two great aviators inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Louisiana Hall of Fame, earlier in the year, but they brought it home to Houma as the Houma Terrebonne Airport Commission honored both gentlemen. Let's listen more to Mr. Hammonds.
I flew seaplanes day and night, because the oil field industry indicated they wanted that type service. In the middle of the night, I might go up in the Chapalaya, or I might go down to Garden Island Bay for Texaco and down the line, on and on and on. And the good Lord was with me, though. Okay, I guarantee he was, because if he didn't, I'd have killed myself. Because that's a very dangerous thing to do. But at the time, I was building my service, and they depended on me. I couldn't go anywhere. They would call me. I would get these little beepers. You remember some of you older guys, the little beepers we had that they would indicate that somebody's trying to call you. And it was a wonderful time. And my son Ricky, one day he told me, he said, "Dad, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to be a Navy pilot, like Bert." Okay. And I said, well, that's fine. I said, have you ever have you ever thought about the Naval Academy, like Mert? He said, no, I never did, never thought about it too much. I said, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. If you think you might be interested in Naval Academy, we're going to fly up there and look at it and we'll walk around the Academy grounds and see how much you like it. And if you like it there, you're going to have to make an application. I think 14,000 boys at the time applied to the Naval Academy, and only about, 1,400 get to go. So it's not very many. So I said, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to work real hard, study hard. It was in high school then. And I said, study hard, give it 100%, 120%, because I said, that's what it's going to take. I sent him to Nichols in his junior year in high school to take college math and different sciences. And so when he applied for the Naval Academy, he got in. Matter of fact, he got appointed to the Air Force Academy also. We were very happy about that. He had a wonderful career. He got to fly in the movie Top Gun, the first one with Tom Cruise in a bunch. And he was a Delta captain for 25 years, flying internationally. And so he made me real proud. And anyway, it's been a wonderful career. I thank I see so many people here that contributed to my career, okay? Now, I want to tell you one thing before I leave here, another thing. What about our country of America, okay? When I grew up poor. Well, it's kind of like slaves. My mother was a single mom, and we lived out in the country of Evangeline, Louisiana, over by Jennings and Lake Charles in southwestern part of our state. And very, very poor. And what kind of poor guy, a poor kid, only in America can you come up through the ranks and working real, real hard. I gave it 100%. I gave it 125% throughout my life. But that's the way it's got to go. Okay? I wanted a degree. Okay? I worked for many years on getting this doggone ring, but I finally got it because it satisfied my soul. That's what I wanted to do. Something I wanted to real, real bad. When I was 16, my stepfather decided that he wasn't going to work anymore. And I was 16, and they told me, the guy that owned the house said, Charlie, we're getting ready to evict y'all. I said, what? Yeah, he said he hadn't paid anything on the house. And he said, I hate to do it. I said, I tell you what you do. Give me 2 days. Let me see if I can get this going, okay? So I worked for Mr. Geis. I started with him washing airplanes when I was 12. And that's when we moved from Lafayette. I was a caddy on the golf course. And incidentally, by the way, my first job was a shoe shine boy. I came a long way, okay? But anyway, I talked to Mr. Geis, and I said, Mr. Lloyd, I got a bad problem. I said, they're getting ready to evict us out of our house. And I said, I don't know what to do. I got 5 brothers and sisters. And I said, and what's going to happen, they're going to be scattered all over this United States if I don't watch it. And my mom, I had a wonderful mother. I mean, the best. But anyway, he said, I tell you what you do. And I said, first of all, I said, they told me that I couldn't buy the house. I was only 16 years old. So I don't know what to do. He said, I tell you what you do. You buy that house. Okay? You buy it. I'm going to co-sign it for you, which he did. And I did, and I raised all my siblings, and I took my stepfather one day, but I gave my mom, I said, tell you what, Mom, give him 2 weeks. If you don't have a job, he's out of here. So he told me, I told him, I said, Frederick, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to get a job. If you don't get a job, you're out of here. And he said, well, you SOB, you can't. ain't no way you're going to kick me out of this house. I said, well, okay, you just watch it. So 2 weeks came by, and I told Mom, I said, Mom, you know, I told him, I said, you got a job yet? He looked up at me, and he told me, he cussed me out, basically. So I was strong then. I was kind of like, oh, let me see, I figured. Yeah. So anyway, I took him by the collar and the seat of his pants, and I threw him out in the front yard, and I threw that suitcase out there. Now, the thing that bothered me was the kids were all screaming, you know, and it still bothers me today, but it's the only thing that I could do. So I had to quit school. I had to quit, and I didn't, because I wanted to be like Mert. I wanted to be a Navy pilot. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. And but I had to change my life. Okay, so what I did, I was in about 10th, maybe 11th grade, and I quit school, and I got my GED, of course, and then I worked full time with Mr. Guys at the seaplane base to raise these children. I sent them all to college over the years and everything else. So through that, I'm a Christian, okay? And the good Lord told me, and I always cry, and Mert knows that. But he told me, he said, I tell you what, you want to be a pilot? I'm going to make you a pilot. I'll give you all kind of airplanes to fly. I will give you, I have 40,000 hours now. You think I didn't fly a little bit? The Lord was so good to me, okay? And I got to fly all these wonderful airplanes, the B-17, the B-25s, and all these different airplanes. And again, the wonderful F-15 that kind of did all, because, you know, let me tell you this. God is so good. All my whole career he tracked it for me. He knew my story before I knew my story. Okay, and but when I finally said, "Ain't no way I'm gonna ever be able to fly one of these military fighters," you know, he said, "Yeah, I just didn't get to ride it. I got to fly it." And I could have done all kinds of different things in the airplane if I wanted to. But it was a wonderful thing. But the good Lord, he tracked it for me. And let me tell you what, aviation is a tough business. It's the toughest. You can, I've had some good times in aviation. When the oil field downturn hit us in the 80s, it was tough. I got on my knees and I told the good Lord, I said, tell you what, if you give me the push and everything else, I will pull this thing off and get it over with, okay? And I tell you what, guys and girls, I didn't lose anything other than that pen right there on this desk. Nothing, okay? Because he set it up for me. That's the way it went. I went to all the banks and told them, I said, tell you what, things are bad right now. Y'all need to reduce my indebtedness here as far as the interest rates and stuff like that, and y'all need to help me. Now, I don't know if y'all know, for years I drove Volkswagen Beetles. That was my company car, okay? And what it did that whole time, during that real hectic time of the oil field downturn in the 80s, it taught me values that I didn't realize. I could have bought it before that. I could have been driving a Mercedes or what the hell, maybe anything, okay? But it taught me values, so I lowered everything. I lowered what I drove. I lowered what I spent, the whole bit, okay? And but anyway, that's my life. And it's and I appreciate this, especially for my own airport here. This airport has meant so much to me personally, and I'm going to miss it when I completely get away from it. Of course, I'm going to live to be, I think, 150. So I'll be back. Okay. But I thank Mert. Mert has been a wonderful friend. All these people have been good to me. All of you, and here a lot of my friends I looked at. Tonight, and truly been nice, you know, and And thank God for that.
All right, there you have it. On a separate program, we're going to share all the video of John Corky Farnoff. Of course, he's also a great aviator in his own right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you. And don't forget, Facebook and YouTube, you can watch the whole thing. We'll be back.
Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.